Well, we're here today at the Best Western in the Northwest section of Calgary, and we're really excited because we're about to do the Android versus Apple Techno Wars, and this is the first week of this. So are you excited, sir?
Absolutely.
What do you expect to have happen here today?
Hope we get some heated debate.
Awesome. Who do you think is going to win?
Oh, that's a good question. I think iPhone. I'm an Android user, but I think iPhone.
You think they got a good argument?
Yeah.
Well, we're about to find out. So we're going to get started here in a few minutes. And next week we are also going to be running an event, and it is going to be Mac versus PC. So you're going to want to tune in for that as well. Looking forward to it.
Excellent. I shaved already. Anyways,
Let's wait, I gotta shut my BlackBerry off.
yeah.
Is that business people use it, you know?
Anyways, a blonde was talking to her husband. She says, you know, I really need a cell phone. I want a cell phone. Sorry to the blondes that are in, but you know about yourself. Anyways, she gets her first cell phone. She goes out the next day shopping. The phone rings. She picks it up, and it's her husband. And she says, oh, hi. He said, how are you doing? How do you like your cell phone? I love my cell phone. But how'd you know I was at Walmart? Anyway, on we go.
Good night, everybody.
I'm going to introduce her. On the Apple team today we have Rick Gold's favorite toy growing up was an HO scale train set, and his first computer was a Macintosh LC520. After reading Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, he delved into learning about the internet. Today, Rick is the owner of the STEM Group that specializes in graphic design service, website design and development, and video production. Rick has been an avid supporter of our network and was one of the first people to acquire our mastermind membership in the fall of last year. Put your hands together for Rick Gold! Joining Rick today is Curtis Joint. Curtis grew up playing with Meccano, and his first comic book characters were Betty and Veronica. Which one did you like better?
Equal.
Equal, all right. There's still a debate going on.
One for money, one for love.
His first computer was a Macintosh SE in 1987, and he has been learning technology ever since. He is the founder of My Mac Dealer and is involved in the local Mac market since 1987. Curtis is the implementation specialist at Linotype Hell, and an account representative at Apple Canada, Customer Services Division, Verimac, and Corporate Computers, and a branch manager of Canadian Fine Color. Both Curtis and Rick agree the best film of 2013 was, what do you guys think they figured? No, Star Trek. Give the Apple team a hand. Now entering our arena. For their first corporate appearance, we have the challengers, Metro and Sexual. Metro has a master's in business administration from Kellogg University. He installed the... Take him on. Leave him on, please. He installed the first internet computers and access points across North America in 1989 and 90. Sexual has 2 years of recent experience selling cell phones and computer technology for major retailers and has been trained to sell both Apple and Android products. He is Apple certified and yet remains a loyal Android user. His favorite toy growing up was older women. Speaking of older women, during a sexual experience, the woman said to her man, she goes, "You're just like a cell phone." And he says, "Why? Do I vibrate a lot?" And she goes, "No, when you enter the tunnel, you lose the network." Anyways, where was I? Sorry, I got it. Both Metro and Sexual agree that the very best superhero of all time is definitely Batman. Except Superman's coming out. Batman. Because he is a capitalist who sleeps with gorgeous women and kicks the shit out of idiots. Metro and Sexual are here today to make apple sauce.
Well, your club changed a lot.
New leadership, Tyler.
All right, we're going to start out by reading the rules. Number 1 rule, there is no fight club. Number 2 rule, there is no fight club. Number 3, everyone must leave as friends September, even if that means we stay here until midnight. And 4, if you cry, we will post it on Facebook. Debaters, we'd like you to stand up, shake hands.
Funny looking too.
Really? I bear a striking resemblance to
No, you
the
don't.
previous CEO of the company.
Hecklers in the crowd, be warned. We will go with the local Cowtown law. You will be tarred, feathered, run out of town on a horse that will be supplied to you with 2 weeks of groceries and a rifle. Don't worry about it. At the end of the round, I'm going to twink a glass. Twink? That's a nice word. Twink. 2
The
twink.
only one y'all can ride a horse.
I will twink a glass. And there you go. Let's have a sound, right? When you hear that sound, it's time to vote. You have in front of you, I got like only 4 apples and about 27 androids. This isn't fixed. And a voting box. You got a voting box in front of you. So when I tink the glass, it's time to vote for that specific question, whoever you think won that part of the debate, and then we'll move on to the next question. Then we will total these to determine the winning team. We're all ready?
Yeah.
All right, let the games of phones begin. Yeah,
We got half an hour.
lots of time.
Use your BlackBerry off that.
4 minutes a question. Let the game of phones begin. Number 1, Rick Gold. What is the number 1 thing you love about your competitor's product?
I saw that question come across this morning, and to be very honest, it is a hard thought. It's not that I hate Android, but is there something that I really do admire about Android? It's hard. I don't, I'd say their openness, but then there's drawbacks. The fact that they're available on many different hardware platforms, but there's problems. The fact that, it's a good company that says they're open, but they're not. So, no. But I will say this: they have done right in the latest Google I/O, where they actually had, and I pretty much think forced HTC and Samsung to come out with a pure Android model. That at least is a beginning to getting rid of some of the problems that plague Android.
Okay, perfect. Sensual. What do you love about Apple?
What do I love about Apple? I love Steve Jobs about Apple. That's what I love about Apple. He was
Oh,
a
come on
brilliant
now.
mind in the business community, and you know what? He was the best thing I ever saw in that company for sure. Brilliant mind. Most genius marketer this world has ever seen, and he brought that company to what it became. And I was legitimately sorry to see him pass on.
Rick, any counter that?
Not at all. I agree with that, and it was very true that Apple started to rise again once it came back. So, but I think what we've seen this past week with on the Ive and everything, I hope we continue it.
Sexual, any last word on that topic? No? Voting time.
History does repeat.
Yeah.
Yep, everyone grab one and throw which one you want in your...
So you can put a V on the back for BlackBerry?
Yeah.
The Canadian company?
Should we put it in this
Who you thought answered best?
Everybody's only putting in one.
Right.
One for each question. No cheating. All right. Everybody voted?
Never voted.
Round 2. Curtis, tell us about the security features on the iPhone. You got 2 minutes.
From a technical or practical perspective?
Yes.
That's not an answer.
Brad,
I'm answering a question with a question. You've got to at least answer with a yeah.
Oh,
From
you
most
got 2
practical,
minutes.
from the most practical perspective, the security comes, I think, in a large part because it's a curated environment. Everything is sort of tested The security is there. I'm no techie kind of guy at in the extreme. I'm not a propeller head, never aspired to be one, but when you talk to those guys, for instance, they'll tell you that it's probably the most secure platform you can ever do banking on. A lot of people are concerned about doing online banking. And iOS devices are, if not the most secure, they're certainly at or near the top of the list. You know, if the geeks are telling me that, I'm not in a position to argue with them.
And 99%, recent report was 99.9% of all malware on mobile devices is on the Android platform. And it is simply because of its openness. If you can't vet apps, if you don't have any process of vetting apps in before they get onto a user's phone, unfortunately, the scourge of society takes over. People complain about Apple controls this and Apple controls that, but I don't have to worry about viruses and malware on my phone.
Good, great. Metro, tell us about Android security. You also have 2 minutes.
The latest offering in terms of security meant to come out with the release of the Galaxy S4 from Samsung. It has a name called Fort Knox, which some of us that are older would equate to high-end security. It's meant to rival BlackBerry, which is considered hands down the most secure environment.
When their network's up.
When the BlackBerry network is up. It's done hand in hand to do 2 things. Number 1 is to unify the back end for enterprises and provide a layer of security that acts across all the different platforms. The second part is it also allows enterprise employees to have their personal data separated from corporate data, thereby enhancing and hardening the protection that's necessary in the enterprise environment. The perception is regarding malware is actually kind of contentious in some circles. While our honorable opponents are talking about malware, by the same point in time, the latest figures indicate that there are the identified, and I've got a graph here, it's 217 identified malwares for smartphones, of which 83% of them are actually found on iPhones, and the rest are divided up amongst BlackBerries, Windows, and yeah, I kind of was shocked too when I saw it. I was just looking at it here. I've got a lovely little pie graph for you.
And who's that from?
Yeah.
I'm just going to...
I would also add that with Android devices, you have the option, I don't know, maybe you have this option with iPhones, but I know with Android devices, if you're truly concerned about adware and malware, there are security apps or programs, if you would, to solve that issue. You've all heard of AVG, ESET, Bitdefender. They all offer that type of service for your mobile devices.
Curtis,
And in
15 seconds, Curtis.
if you
have a
purchase
rebuttal.
the larger
Yes.
packages of any of those,
I've never seen any malware on my phone. I know lots of times through the years I've been a Mac dealer, there was rumors all the time about stuff on the Mac. It's the same idea, and that kind of research usually comes from the people that are starting to sell you the antivirus software in the first place. So
Exactly.
their research is suspect at best.
And also, furthermore, the software, this software you're talking about, you're saying is simply a Samsung. That's the issue right there. It's not
Gotta be
across
across the
Android.
board.
It's across Samsung only.
Metro, 15 seconds. You got a rebuttal. Not a very good one.
That's actually.
Five.
Sorry, I wasn't.
Four.
There's a lot of data being supplied by a lot of different interested parties regarding the issue of security, and it's worth it if security is an issue to you as a user. Do your diligence and dig into those figures and make the best choice that suits your needs.
All right. Voting time. Explain the features on the iPhone 5 that make it easy for a business owner to use.
Well, that's the problem. It's not just the iPhone 5, it's the entire platform. And that's going to be the issue with the rebuttal, I'm sure, is many different manufacturers will have different features. So unfortunately, it's not a benefit of the Android, it's a benefit of a particular one model on Samsung or HTC or whichever. When it comes to the Apple platform, I particularly am very mobile. I'm always out and about. So for instance, I get a customer saying, hey, I want to bring my phone around to get repaired. Okay, no problem. I'll send you a work order. I can do it right from my phone, and it's the exact same sorry, it's the exact same file I have access to on my iPad, exact same file I have access to on my computer through Apple's iCloud service. If I'm on the road and I have my iPad in the back and I've gone for a trip, I need to edit my fuel log. Into my spreadsheets I go. It updates everywhere I am. I keep as much data for my business, like any word processing, sorry, my head's not working right now. Any Excel spreadsheets, that kind of stuff, are all where I am with whatever device I have. That's the highest productivity value that I can find. Also, in regards to, say, I lose my phone. Don't worry, got all my contacts on my iPad, all my contacts on the computer. All that data is kept in all my devices at once. Anything you further?
Oh, there's lots, but I'll wait till the rebuttal.
Further beyond that, most of the app developers out there, and this is changing, admittedly, yes, they do find the Apple platform is still far easier to develop for, and will and do release software on the Apple platform quicker, especially higher end companies that are doing major software. In fact, Microsoft just announced today that they have finally got Office Mobile for iOS, which we'll see how good it is compared to Apple's own offerings, which is another thing. Even if you don't have the $100 a year subscription to Office for iOS, you do have access to iWork, which is Apple's equivalent, and you can actually open and save complete Word or Excel document compatible versions from your iPad or iPhone.
And PowerPoint.
And PowerPoint.
There it
yeah.
is.
Yeah, well, when Rick was talking about sort of that market fragmentation
Oh,
for,
Curtis, I like you.
okay, in term, well, now
Oh,
that
you've been cut off.
I've started, when Rick was just mentioning about the developers and the difficulty in deploying across multiple platforms, when you consider that Apple's users of iOS devices, and iOS devices, when we talk about our iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch, 93% of those users today are using the most recent operating system. In the Android world, you've got 37% for Gingerbread, 3% for Froyo, 33% on Jelly Bean, and 25% on Ice Cream Sandwich. Different flavors of Android. And add to that the complexity of running on different hardware platforms with different screen resolutions and different feature sets and different memory and whatnot. So developers, when Rick was saying it's getting a little easier, well, that's in theory. In practice, still, the developers have a much more difficult task, and it's not dissimilar to some other platforms as well that aren't part of the discussion today, but the same phenomena exists in some other ones. So that's an issue when you're trying to be consistent across multiple platforms in a business.
And your app doesn't end up looking as good.
Okay, great. Sexual. Why do you believe Android is the best choice for business?
Well, a lot of different things to talk about on that topic. In 2 minutes, I would say my number one favorite feature, which makes it great for business, is the Google Maps. It is proclaimed significantly better than the iMap system.
But I have that on here too.
You have
So
Google
that's
Maps
not
on
a
there?
benefit.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, new topic then. Kingsoft Office. You want to talk compatibility with Microsoft Office? Kingsoft Office is a free app, 100% compatible with all Microsoft file types, Word, Excel. Oh, no problem. It easily goes onto your phone, and you can open it, view it, edit the whole shebang without any issue whatsoever. You can also access those files from Google Drive, and same deal. Oh, that comes straight from your Gmail account. For those of you that know how to use Google Drive, if you don't, you should seriously figure it out because it goes with all your Gmail accounts, and it's a wonderful file sharing feature. What else do I got? Gmail calendar, staying consistent across all platforms like Curtis was mentioning. Everybody here, I'm assuming, has a Gmail account most likely. You need it in business. Yes, you got your Gmail calendar, you got Google Drive, you got all your emails, and also you have your Google Chrome browser. When you set those up, all of your favorites, as well as bookmarks, emails, calendar automatically syncs to your Google phone without an issue, as well as you will automatically be logged into any proprietary or proprietorship of Google, including YouTube. So what's important for your business to know is why not go with a Google phone when Google owns everything that's important to your business, especially when marketing online. Number one way to promote your business online, SEO of Google. Okay, that's important. Number 2 way of promoting your business online, YouTube, owned by Google.
What does it have to do with Android platform?
Well, with the new
Metro,
Galaxy
2 minutes.
S3,
Why do you believe Android is the best option for a business owner?
We have a rebuttal, Will.
It's okay, it's okay.
That's about where we're at there.
We're out of sync.
I'll give you 30 seconds or 15 seconds later.
Okay. I can go now?
Metro.
File sharing is a major issue with business, but the biggest single largest reason is, are you somebody that wants to be told what you should and should not be using for a device and what those features should be, or would you be somebody that would like to actually have the freedom to pick a device that suits your needs? And that is a single largest reason why I believe that Android has a better offering for business people. There's enough variety to reflect all the diversity that is in the business environment. Second reason is the file sharing issues. File organization and file sharing issues are a massive headache for all corporations as they reach out and touch all their customer base and interaction with their customer bases. They've got sales teams that are using Apple. They've got operations people that are using Galaxy platforms. You've got people that are using iPads, people that are using a variety of other different tablets. Unfortunately, the lack of a strong offering from both Windows and BlackBerry have made it a two-horse race. And the latest offerings from both the iOS 7 as well as the latest update on Jelly Bean do not address some of the problems that are being found at the rudimentary technical level within corporations. Android does offer, as I said earlier, an upgrade. It is not being pushed across all platforms within the Android environment. Unfortunately, it's confined only to Samsung. But the Keyline Pi is going to have a plug-in mechanism in the new devices that will be coming out in the fall of this year to allow you to integrate in some of those features that allow for seamless integration with the data transfer.
Hey, Rick, you're dying to speak. Go crazy. You got 15
Mike, I'll take Rick's turn here. I think that's perfect how you just ended up on Keyline Pi. We'll add this. How many people here were PC users since 1995? And how many people suffered through malware, viruses, etc.? And how many people were told, oh, we have improvements coming, we have improvements coming, we have improvements coming? It only took them 15 to 20 years.
Have a good night.
And that to me is exactly the same kind of argument we're having today. And it doesn't matter if it's just Android or, Microsoft's got some products out there as well.
Metro
And-
or Central, 15 seconds.
well, I would add he's talking, it's easy to point out all the pitfalls of a device, talking Windows. I mean, if it was really such an issue, I think this world would be running on strictly Apple. I mean, the fact is, if it's so great over at Apple and everything sucks
Time
with
to vote.
Windows, why wouldn't you?
2 minutes or less. What experience have you had with your competitor that has shaped your opinion of them?
None. I'm honest.
Excellent. I like your timing.
I've had a little experience in terms of on the repair side as well as the operational side. I find coming to an Android device, just there isn't the cohesiveness. Every device seems to be different. If I have on the Android operating system on a Samsung and I go pick up an HTC, it's different. Too different to be proper. However, if I'm on a pure Android device, then yeah, sure. But that's the problem right there. There's very few pure Androids out there because they let everybody go on and throw on their little old UI and screws the interface for everybody. That also, of course, then, there's all the problems associated with that. On the repair side, a lot of the Samsung people will go and joke, oh, look at your tiny little phone. Yeah, mine, not this one because it is brand new, I will admit that. But the iPhone 4S, for example, I repair for $109. A Galaxy 3, $250. And that's because the gigantic ass screen, that gets busted easier as well. So they're both made of very resilient materials. Both, you'll see endless tests online. I can say, oh, I've dropped my phone 500 times and it's never broken. Doesn't matter. When it does, that's the question. It's a hell of a lot more expensive to fix those big phones. And as you can now see, you're going to start seeing a lot of these big phones disappear. because the consumers around the world have chosen and will continually choose smaller phones. That's why now recently Samsung has started introducing the minis and HTC minis, and the big phones are on their way out, thank God.
Quick rebuttal.
You got 2 minutes, you don't have to be quick. What experience have you had with your competitor? Take your opinion on that.
My experience with iPhone. I worked for a major retailer in laptop and portable device sales, mostly tablets. I worked there for over a year and ran my department. And I worked there for a year, and at about the 1 year point, Apple signed a contract with my retailer so that we would get the privilege to sell the iPad. And with that contract came a new set of rules. They said, we cannot break these rules or we will pull your privilege to sell the iPad. I had no problem, I had knowledge about the tablet, I had no problem selling it, but I preferred Android devices, my manager knew that. So he came to me and drew out the one most important rule for me. He said, Apple says, if anybody comes through that door and so much as mutters the word iPad, you are not allowed to show them any other device in recommendation, because they will pull our contract and you will be fired. Up until that point, all of my training was on customer service. Anybody comes through that door, you find what's right for them. Apple comes in, new rule. Anybody comes through that door, you find what's right for Apple.
Got a rebuttal if that's okay.
Go next. 40 seconds.
Yeah, we love the products, hate the company. What's the problem? That's talking about corporate policy, not about the product.
Yeah.
I was an Apple dealer for years. I mean, and I was competing against our biggest supplier. I'm not in business anymore because I don't play fair in that regard. And so, I'm not here to defend the policies of the company. I think there's some good things they do and there's some bad things they do, and every company has that same kind of situation. So to label the product as bad because of the corporate policies, and we get the same thing. We would say you're not allowed to sell used equipment. Well, screw you, we did. And we made our bread and butter. If we didn't have our Apple authorization, we wouldn't have did.
20 seconds.
Okay, I'm not saying the product is good and the company is bad. I'm saying the company's bad and the product is bad.
Yeah, I understand.
And if
But the logic
product
was the
wasn't
company's bad, ergo.
why would Apple be scared for me to show people other options?
They're not
What is
scared,
their
they're
fear of outside the box?
Big difference between scared and anal, and they are anal.
And that doesn't actually account for anything like Samsung as well.
Apple, 46 votes. Slaughter, Android, 89 votes. 89 to 46.
Who knew?
It's okay. But that's okay. That's
Good
okay.
job, Gordon. Great job.
All right, so the results are in, that's good. Quickly, guys, here just want to thank our panel for a really great, informative, and entertaining presentation. We now know a lot more about Apple and Android and have a better idea as to which one's better for our businesses. Just please remember to promote our members, Rick Gold and Zechariah James, are the people that you know this week, and also promote the other members of our chapters. Thank you as well to the President's Club chapter that joined us today. Next week they're back at their regular location at the Carriage House. They're currently looking for chiropractor, travel agent, and an event planner. If you know anyone who should be joining them, put their name on a referral slip and hand it to Tyler or Condridge. Okay.
Hand it to Tyler.
Okay, awesome. The Northwest chapter will be meeting here again next week and carrying on with another techno war. Next week is Mac versus PC. Dun, dun, dun. And we're expecting even more Kool-Aid to be splashed around. Please feel free to sign up and join us before you leave, and bring business owners, entrepreneurs, and executives that you know to join us. So we've gone around already to do the referrals. So please pass a white copy to the member if you have a referral for them, and the yellow copy over to me. So.